Today, we are going to use our popsicle stick to cut our clay into two equal rectangles. We're going to set one rectangle aside, pick up the other rectangle, and smack and squish it into a ball in your hands. Once we have our clay in a nice round shape, we're going to start squeezing one side of this ball to make it into an ice cream cone. Next, we're going to gently tap this ice cream cone until we get the shape of our leaf. On your desk, there is a handout where you can measure the size of your leaf. We want to make sure that our leaf is large enough to hold our snail. Use your popsicle stick to clean up the edges of your leaf. You want to make sure that your leaf matches the size of the template on your handout. Here we're going to dip our finger into the slip and smooth the edges of your leaf. Even though the clay is soft now, once it gets fired in the kiln, it will be hard and pokey on the edges. The edges may be sharp and might cut you, so we want to smooth that out. If your clay starts to look dry or has elephant skin, as we like to call it, rub a little slip and give it a little bit of a drink. You want to rub that slip until it is no longer shiny. Here we're going to use our skewer to add the details of our leaf and then set your leaf to the side. Here we're going to take this rectangle and we are going to cut 1/4 of this rectangle off the end. So that means we will have a slightly shorter rectangle and a little rectangle when we're done. So it kind of turns out that I actually needed a little bit more clay than 1/4. I needed 1/2 of that. So I'm going to take my clay and kind of ball that up into the size of about a large bouncy ball. Now I'm going to take my clay and I'm going to start making an ice cream shape where it is thicker at one end and the tail thins out at the other end. This is going to be the body of my snail. Here I'm going to use a popsicle stick to gently cut a small mouth, being very careful that I don't cut the top of my head off. We want the snail's body to be in an L shape with a little curl at the tail. The shell will sit on top of this long part of the L shape. Now let's take some clay and roll a coil, which is a long snake-like piece. This will become the snail shell. Roll the coil into a spiral and press the ends gently into the shell so that it does not come unraveled. Tap the bottom lightly to make it flat. This will help your shell, words are hard. This will help your shell sit securely onto your body. Here we're going to use our toothbrush to slip and score both pieces, putting the sticky sides together and giving it a little wiggle to secure them to each other. take 2 small pieces of clay to make the eyes. These eyes will be about the size of a Skittle or a pea. You may have to adjust your eyes a little bit to get the right size. You may have to make them a couple of times. I know I did. These were entirely too big, so I had to cut one in half and then I roll it up again to see if this fits better onto my head. We don't want the eyes to be too big. After I have my eyes made, I'm going to gently tap them on the bottom to give them a flat side. And then I'm going to slip and score with my toothbrush on both eyeballs to stick it to the sides of my head. I will use a skewer. I'll use the pointy end of the skewer to make the center of the eyes. The very last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slip and score on the bottom of my snail body. I'm going to slip and score on my leaf, and I'm going to stick those two together and give them a little wiggle so that they are very secure. We don't want anything to come apart in the kiln during the firing process. And there you have it, the cutest little garden snail you've ever seen.